Alrighty, in this video here, we're going to go through the process of going through various sources that you can use to find literally an unlimited supply of possible niches. I highly recommend that you take the time and the effort in the beginning processes here to really dig deep and create a good list and then go through the methodical process of narrowing that down so you can ensure that when you've gone through this entire process, in the end, you've got 1 to 2 niches. They're well researched. You understand what you're getting into. You understand all the angles of it, okay? Don't skip this stage. Don't cut corners here, okay? So with that, let's go ahead and get started. So this is yellowpages.com. It's one of my favorite areas to go to look and research new niches. All you do is you just come to the home page. You don't need to enter in any information here. Just scroll down to the bottom and select one of these cities. So let's select Los Angeles. And then it takes us down to scroll down a little bit further. And what I like about this is that it'll give you so many ideas and on here. So we're going to go to, well, first of all, let's just go through some of these right here. You can see how large this list is. Now, some of this stuff is not going to apply, but what I would do is I would suggest that you've got a pen and paper or a text notebook opened, and so that you can copy and paste some of these ideas as you go through here. And don't think too much about it. Just start thinking about number one is it a fairly high ticket item? So in other words, is the consumer, your client, will they collect at least $50 from the consumer? Or if it's less money that they collect, will they collect it more often so that the lifetime value of the client is higher? Is it seasonal? I recommend you stay away from seasonal. I do know people that are in seasonal, like snow plowing, and they do very well with it, but it's seasonal. And I would look for something that is on a nationwide basis. It's not just only in one region. Although these are just guidelines, there are always exceptions to the rules there. But I just want you to get started with the best possible success that you can. So let's go through some of these on here. There's going to be some stuff in here that's just not going to make any sense for you. For example, apartment locators. That's probably not going to be a good niche to get into. The reason is you would have to, it's very location specific, right? So you'd have to have a list of apartments, and it's just it would become an entirely different business model. So that's just not a good niche right there. Here, if we come down here, computer manufacturers, maybe not the manufacturers on that, but like computer repair would be good. Let's kind of go down here and we can kind of scroll through some of these on here. Computer shop. Okay, so these are things that are trending. Under 18 nightclubs. So let's go ahead. I'm going to show some more trending on here. You're going to see if you look down here, this is from 100 to 300. There's about, I think, if we scroll down the bottom, we go all the way to here, there's about 10,000 on here. And so these will really give you some good ideas. Jot down. Now these are specific companies that they're looking for, but think about the niche behind it. Escort service. That's actually a huge niche to me, and very, very profitable. I know some people that are in that industry themselves. On here, we have, let's see, let's keep going down, scrolling through these. We have architectures in here, baseball cards, limousine on here, tire companies on here, barbecue equipment and supply. Just open up your eyes to these and go through these processes on here of discovering new niches you'd maybe never even think of on here. Let's see here, churches, okay, film studios. Let's keep going on here. Okay, mechanic schools, they're huge. Now I don't know if that's a nationwide one, but they for affiliate offers for mechanical schools, they pay a lot per lead. So because each student is going to end up paying thousands and thousands upon dollars. So they're very valuable. That's an example of a high ticket item. Hardwood floors, okay, and another very high ticket item. Okay, so that's just one. Okay, so now let's go to two. You can see I have there's 100 here. Okay, so you can go through these. Commercial janitor, there's one I would have never thought of. Now that's a huge ticket item because a commercial job, that's going to be a 1 or 2 year contract. And so that's going to be huge. And that's something that I think would be fairly easy to duplicate over many cities. Janitorial supplies and our janitorial services for commercial is nationwide, right? And it's not seasonal, and it's a high ticket item. So that would be something to definitely jot down as we kind of go through these. Okay. So again, I want to go through this as kind of like I'm actually doing it, like you're actually looking over my shoulder here. So if this seems a bit boring and slow, I apologize for that, but I want you to be able to really go through these processes and make sure that you're doing a very thorough job. Start exploring here, become a curious George, and always be looking for something that's unique and different that you maybe never thought of before. And don't worry so much right now whether about the searches or the keywords. We'll get into those next. Right now we're just jotting down ideas on here. So let's go ahead and let's go down to the third page. You can see how many of these there are. Okay, and let's see here. Keep going through. Shipping containers, that's one I would have never thought of until now. Is that nationwide? Not quite sure. It sounds like it. It should be people know shipping, like moving shipping containers and stuff. So that's kind of a different, unique. Sounds like a fairly high ticket item too. It's going to be well over $50, obviously, for a shipping container. Immigration lawyers, could be something there. Chinese bookstore, never thought of that before. But I don't know if that would be nationwide. I don't know if we get that in every major city in the U.S. So that's one I would probably not do. Sign rental, never thought of sign rental before. That might be something that you want to look at and jot down. Let's go over here, number 4. You can see how many of these that there are on here. Auto alarms installed. I would have never in a million years thought of that unless I came here. So that's something I would put down. That is definitely not seasonal. People can get that all year round, and it would definitely be nationwide. There'd be people that would be interested in auto alarms all across, the United States, Canada, and other countries, I would think. Pianos and organs, a very high ticket item on that. Let's see here. Motorcycle instructions. So that's some kind of motorcycle. I guess you'd be qualifying to get a license or something like that. And again, another probably fairly high ticket item on that. Let's keep scrolling down here so you can see that there's some gems that can really kind of pop up here on that. Things that, this is an example, things to avoid, or it would take a lot of work, is if you did like a Spanish, like a Spanish restaurant or Italian restaurants. It would be hard to duplicate and scale that per city, although you could. It would just take a little bit more work, but it could be well worth it. It would require that you would need to research all the Spanish restaurants in each of the cities that you're going to be in. You would put them up, and you could probably charge like a flat rate or on a pay-per-call basis as well. You'd require photos. You could probably strip that kind of stuff from their existing websites as well. Keep your eyes open for opportunities like that. Let's go through that. Male body piercing. That's another thing I would have never thought of. And it's a possibility. That's something that could be fairly easy to scale. You could use the same images and the same site design probably in all cities. You just get the most popular kind of body piercing type pictures, and so forth. 24-hour emergency dental clinics. That's definitely would be a good one. Goat farms, I don't know about that. It's definitely not that something that you would want to um, have because it's not nationwide, right? You're probably not going to have goat farms everywhere, and I really don't know what the demand is for that. Um, so keep going down here. Vintage cinemas, interesting. Okay, so let me see. We're just at number 4 here. I click on the 5. I go all the way to 100 pages. Each one of these pages has 100 on them. So we're already from 900 to 1100. I think you can see the value that these can bring on here. And doll repair would have never in a million years thought of that. But who knows? Male clinics, definitely a possibility. These are going to have to deal with male clinic type of topics like probably testosterone replacement, functioning problems, stuff like that. Towing companies, that's another one. Keep scrolling down. You just want to copy and paste these down, write these down in a notebook or a notepad because we're just getting started in this process. Vinyl siding. I don't know enough about vinyl siding, but if it's nationwide or pretty close to nationwide, I know I think in hotter areas like in Arizona, New Mexico, I don't think there's a whole lot of vinyl sidings. It just doesn't make sense. But in other parts of the country, there may very well be lots of vinyl sidings, and those are obviously high ticket items. So that's a possibility too. Any foreign car used parts. Not quite sure. That's a possible niche. Some things that you would want to be thinking about the foreign car used parts is I guess you'd have to study other websites and look at them and see how they have them designed and ask yourself, could you use that same website design and would it work in like the top 25 cities? Would that same type of website work in Dallas, Houston, in Miami, in San Diego, in Los Angeles, in Seattle, or would you have to have a list of inventory parts, or would you have categories and then have them a call to action, and so that very may well work out on that. So that might be another one that you want to look down. Let's see. There's just so many. I can go. I'll fast forward up here. I think there's even more beyond that. Look, we're at 20,000. I mean, it's auto salvage. Okay, it's another one on here. Notary. I would have never thought of a notary on that. Custom doors. Okay. See, there's just an endless supply of piano movers. Most people have pianos all over the country, and piano movers, that's kind of a specialty thing. So that may be something that could be really good too. That would be one I would jot down. Let's see, what else do we got here? Okay, so floral supplies. I'm not quite sure about that. Immigration consultant, most definitely, but probably immigration consultant. I don't know if that would be nationwide, but definitely, in the East Coast and the West Coast. And there's plenty of, places like Miami and New York, and then on the other side of the United States would be all throughout California stuff. So that might be pretty. Look, we've got more of these. They go all the way up. There's even more. We've got to click up to 135. On here, see if that's it. Yep, that's the last one. So look, that's almost over 26,000 possibilities here. So I think you see right here, there's just a lot. Used car lot, okay, that's a possibility for sure. So let's move on. So my other favorite one is going to be Yelp. So in Yelp, let me go to the homepage of Yelp and start from the beginning. This will get a little bit more niche specific, where the one we just looked at list trending companies that people are actually searching for in here. So I'm going to search near San Diego. I like to pick a major city, and then what's going to happen here is I'm going to look at more categories. Whoops, didn't mean to filter that out. So I'm going to have more categories on here. So just more categories. And I'm going to select, I'm going to start digging down in these. So you might want to go, I can go automotive. And then it's going to list the type of automotives down below, and then it's going to give the different categories up here. And these are fantastic things to kind of look at. Car brokers, I would have never thought of that. Car brokers, car buyers. I'm looking to sell my car. I need the quick cash. Is there someone out there who will buy it right away? That's possibly a very profitable niche I would have never thought of, so I would write that one down. Car dealers, I probably wouldn't do car dealers, and the reason is that you would need to have an online inventory, right? And that would be specific for each city and dynamic because there's cars coming in and out, and that's just doesn't fit my business model. I need something that's more scalable. Where a car brokerage would be scalable, you would just come in and you would give us a call. These are our hours. We offer the best prices, immediate cash, blah blah blah, and you'll study other sites. We'll get into that later, but that's another one here. Auto glass service for sure, auto detailing, auto customization. These are all things that I would go. Parts and supplies, nah, maybe not. I'd have to look at other sites, because does the consumer want to search for the parts and supplies online and then just purchase it online and have it mailed, or do the customers like to call in? In that case, you could just, we have the number one most auto parts for these cars, all these foreign cars and domestic cars. Give us a call and we'll quote you a price, blah, blah, blah. So that might work, but you want to study that. Mobile dent repair. That's one I would have never thought of. That's, you've got a little dent in your car, and you want to just get it fixed up. You don't want to drop it off someplace and then have to get a rental car, have someone drive you around. They come to you while you're at work or while you're at home, and they just fix it because it's usually something minor. That's possibly one to look into. RV repairs. That's another one. See, it just goes on and on. A windshield repair. And let's go back to businesses and kind of dig deeper in here to some other categories. So we'll come in here. I'm kind of curious about this one, local services. So what kind of local services do they have here? Look at all these other ones on here. We have adoptive services. Wow, that's huge, right? And that's a huge ticket item on that. So that may be that may be a niche that you want to look into. Art restoration, would have never thought of that. Bail bondsman, most definitely. Let's see. Carpet cleaning, sure, that would be very easy to have as something that you could have the same type of site across many cities. Where you don't have to customize it and have different pictures on that. Let's see, what else do we got here? Elderly care planning, that's huge. That's a huge ticket item. So something you may want to look into there. IT services for sure. Let's see here. Nanny services. I never even thought of that. Absolutely. Pest control. Okay, really good on here. See, even shoe repair would be a possibility. Snow removal. Now that's seasonal, but could be very profitable when the season is up on here. Septic services, would have never thought of that. Okay, so we come back here. And so I think you get the idea. You can really browse. You go through each one of these, and you can start to really dig professional services and dig really deep into each one. And here, so we've got lawyers, all types of lawyers on here. Life coaching is becoming very popular. Payroll services, security services, shredding services, talent agencies. That might be more California and New York Pacific. Taxidermy. You know what? I would have never thought of that. So there's so many out there. So let's continue with that, and I'm going to go to another site that I like, with this Thumbback. Okay, so go to Thumbback, and if you just scroll down, where is it? Let's do this. Where is it? We want more. Oh, right there. There it is. More. Okay, so we go into here, and it breaks out all these categories onto here. So this will give you some other ones on here. Email marketing, data destruction on here, data entry, financial services and planning, recruiting, search engine optimization, tax preparation, different kind of crafts that they've got broken down in here. On here, let's go ahead. Web design, legal, different types of here. I would have never thought of disability attorney, but definitely estate attorneys. Sure, everyone when they think attorneys, they think of DUIs or personal injury on that. But there's a lot of other lawyers out there, that types of niches that are a lot less competitive and easier to rank for. I would personally, DUI would be extremely hard niche to get into and to rank. So would personal injury, but highly, highly profitable. But some of these other niches might be much, much easier. You have to do some research on that. Personal on here, house sitting. That's people do that. That's definitely something I never even thought about that before. There's a life coaching again, maybe something you want to look into. That might be a little personal though. Someone looking for a life coach, I would imagine that on the website they would want to see images, they would want to have a biography about the life coach, and that would be pretty hard to make personalized and then expand it out to 25 cities. And so a niche like that I would avoid. Pets, there's much more when you really start thinking about pets in here. There's pet care, animal behavior modification, it was training, dog training, pet sitting, dog walking, wildlife removal. I mean, these are some, people love their pets, and they almost will, they really are a part of the family. Anyways, you can see how it goes on. A translation, I would never thought about that, but that's another possibility. Where you could do a translation site where you've got multiple translators on here, and that's something that would be easy to duplicate across many cities and stuff. And for the translator, you would just need, you don't necessarily need a translator in Los Angeles. Your client could be anywhere in the world, right? Because they're doing translation services. So that may be a niche that you want to look into, another really good service to do. And then my other site here is Home Advisor. This is more for, like it sounds, this is more for home type of repairs, and they do a really good job of breaking these categories down. So we come in here and it's showing the top categories on here. So I mean, there's just so much in here. Garage doors and garage door openers, huge niche, and all across the United States anyways, and in Canada mostly, they've got garage doors, and they break it down here: garage build, organize, install, even with the driveways, the floor installs. So some people like to have a special type of floors in their garage, especially if they have a little bit more high end. Garage door repair. I sat next to a guy on a plane that was a garage door repair person, and he said they get tons and tons of calls, and it's usually in the morning and the afternoon. People are leaving, and that garage door just starts to go up. It doesn't go up quite all the way, and they'll pull out. Usually while they're making sure their coffee's not going to spill, and they're making sure that they got their phone and everything ready to go to work, and they just pull out a little too soon, and they're stuck, and they crash into it, and they can't get out. So a lot of money to be made in that. And so this just gives you an idea on here, and we can go back, and they really do a good job of just breaking all of these kind of landscaping, roof and gutters on here. So different types of niches on here. The other thing that they do too, which they give a lot of data. If we come down to the bottom, they share lots of data on kind of what's let's see here, contracting leads. I think that's it right there. We might want to go to a different one here, resource guide. Yeah, this is kind of good. Last month's home improvement contractor leads nationwide. Most active categories, roofing and gutters. And this is how many requests that they have. So this is pretty interesting data. This should correlate with the searches that we check later on the Keyword Planner. Fastest growing categories. Well, it's winter season as I'm filming this, so that's natural. There's going to be an increase in their fastest growing cities, hottest tasks on here. So paint, stuff like this, sign making services, outdoor play equipment. I mean, there's a whole wealth of ratings. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I know it ran kind of long, but I wanted you to kind of get a look over the shoulder, and I don't want you to go through this really fast. You want to really kind of explore, become curious George, write down a long list. Don't be just be thinking the general things as I was talking about here. Is this something that could be nationwide? Is it the lead gen site that you've got to design? Is it something that's not personalized for each and every area? For example, the life coach example, that one's going to be probably going to have to be personalized because people are going to want to read about who the life coach is. Do they feel kind of initially connected with the life coach? Is it male or female? What's their background? How do they qualify? That's too specific. You'd have to get a specific one for each city. But something like translators, you could have a translator site for all the languages, right? And you could just, that way you wouldn't even have to get necessarily a customer in each city. You just have to get somewhere in the world someone who does, say Korean translation for a living, and they can do that from anywhere in the world, right? It doesn't matter if you've got, your lead coming from Los Angeles, Houston, or Miami, or anywhere in the world for that matter. So these are, that would be a really good niche, very easy to expand out, and then so those are the things that you want to look for, and we're just more or less kind of brainstorming and looking for various ideas out there. So go through this process. There are other websites out there, but I think you can see that this is a very comprehensive list. You can basically go to any type of major directory like I did on here, the Yellow Pages, Yelp, Thumbback. There's many others, and they might give you some more ideas, but I think this is more than a large enough source of you to find a good list to get started. So, talk to you on the next video. Alrighty, so before you watch this video, by now you should have, from the previous training video, you should have at least a bare minimum of 20, if not 30 to 40 niches, and you should have those niches included on the left hand side of this column here. Now I just have 4, that's just for demonstration purposes only, but you want to have at least 20, if not more. This step is so critical. So assuming that you've got your 20 niches and you've got them here in this column, then you want to proceed forward with it. Otherwise, pause the video, stop, and do that, okay? Very important that you follow this step by step. I'm trying to help you out with the advice that I'm giving you here. So we're going to first look at this. This is mobile dent removal. Is it seasonal? No, it's not seasonal, right? Anybody can get a dent on their car and then call for someone to come over. Is it national? At least in the United States, probably national, right? It's not based on a particular region. People get dents in their car anywhere, right? Obviously. Go to customer. Is this a service where you'd actually go to the customer? Yes, it is. And it doesn't have to be that way, okay? But I find that when you can find a niche where the service provider has to go out and visit the customer, that they will cover a larger area. Thus, they're able to accept more phone calls. It's not a hard and fast requirement. It's just something to be aware of, okay? The amount of money that's collected per customer. I don't know yet. I haven't done the research. We're going to do that during these next couple of videos. Lifetime value of the customer. We haven't estimated that. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to start looking for the top 5 keywords. And I'm going to use the Phoenix area. Now we can use other cities to start out with. It doesn't matter. But what does matter is that you use a city that has at least 250,000 or more population. And in the tabs below here, I've included a list of U.S. cities by population and also by Canada. If you're doing this business and starting out in a different country, then just simply search in Google for the top cities in your country by population. Okay, so Phoenix is a good area to start, so we're going to do that, and we're going to go over to the Google Keyword Planner, And I know absolutely nothing about this niche, so we're going to be doing it together for the very first time, and that's by design because I want you to kind of feel like you're looking over my shoulder, so you get a more realistic idea of how this process works. So I'm in the Google Keyword Planner. I'm going to search for a new keyword phrase. I'm just going to go ahead. I don't know what the major keyword is, so I'm just going to do exactly what it says here, which is enter one or more of the following: your product or service. Well, this is the service, mobile dent removal, and then it'll start to dig up some more keywords, and we'll end up finding hopefully 5, but we want at least a minimum of 250 or more. Let's head over to the map here now, and this is important because in the map section here, I'm going to go ahead and pull this up, is what I like about this particular tool, even though it's technically not designed for SEO, it's for paid advertising, so we always want to keep that in mind, is that it allows me to look at the areas that somebody would go to. Now I'm going to add a couple more on here because, you know, I know the area enough, and if you don't know the area, then you could just kind of map it out. From Phoenix to Peoria, it's just a very short drive, so I want to include that as well in here. So I'm going to add that, and Peoria, Arizona right here. So I'll add that, and as I add that, you'll see it start to kind of darken up there, and definitely going to add Glendale in there as well. And the reason I can do this is because this is a niche where the service goes out to the customer, right? If this was like a dental office or something, you know, if the dentist office was in Tempe, probably somebody from Sun City is not going to drive all the way to Tempe, because as they're driving here, they're probably going to pass 24 dentist offices. Okay, so you just kind of want to use common sense. Definitely Paradise Valley on there, so that's not highlighted. And we'll go ahead and add that. Very nice area of Phoenix, by the way. So it's Scottsdale, and let's go ahead and zoom back out. And Fountain Hills for sure. I mean, we'd go out to Fountain Hills, another very nice area. And there it is, Arizona. Okay. And I'm not quite sure what this area is not lit up. What area is this? I think this area right here might be Scottsdale. Yes. Okay, so that's what that is. Yep, Scottsdale, Arizona. Oh, it's added already. Okay. So I'm not quite sure why this is not lit up here. Anyways, that's pretty good. I could probably add Surprise in there and Goodyear as well. And that's actually what I would do, but in the interest of time, I'm not going to. You get the idea. The idea here is that in the particular area that you want to be in, you want to look at this. And if you're unsure of it, you can always map it out. You can go from like Phoenix to Surprise. How long would that take? If it would take something like around 10 to 15 minutes to get out there, then there's no problem, or even 20 minutes or even 30 minutes. Someone's going to drive out there to do some custom work that could cost, you know, they could collect $200, $300, $400 on that. So, so this will give us a good area. So I'm going to go ahead and press done, and we'll go ahead and save that. So I've got some more areas on there, and then we'll go ahead and we'll begin searching for this, and we'll get some ideas. And this is the exact process that I do for finding keywords. So first of all, on here, what you'll see right here, this gives me the number of average searches per month. So that's just a little double check to make sure it's not seasonal. It's pretty obvious that it wouldn't be, but there are some months that are a little higher than others, but nothing to worry about. These are the ad group ideas on here. Mobile dent repair, that's probably the one we want to go for, and mobile dent removal. Those are looking pretty good. Usually what I'll do then, I'll just, before I even open it up, I usually go right to the keyword ideas, And so mobile dent removal is only 10, but that doesn't mean, it just means we don't have the correct keyword on here. So I'll scroll down here and look at some of the suggestions. And small dent removal, paintless dent removal. That's a possibility. That gets 210 searches. It's kind of interesting. Again, I know nothing about this niche. Dent repair, possibly these two right there, which would push us over. And Dent Wizard probably sounds like a franchise or something. You may want to take a look at that website to see kind of and get to know what that's all about. I'm going to go back to the group ideas, and in here we had the remove car. So let's take a look at that. Car scratch removal. That's kind of interesting. More likely to be very easy to rank for just 50 searches. Okay, there's actually some more because this is 30 to 48. So I'm going to go ahead and set this to 100. Okay, so nothing there is looking really attractive to me except for the one that had the 50 searches. Let's go to the mobile dent repair. They had 17 words and the total is 150. So let's see what we've got here. Come in here and let's see. Mobile dent repair. So we got mobile dent repair. I'm going to pull up a text document and start saving some of these on here. And so we've got that. And so we got the mobile dent repair. And again, this is the exact same process I would go through, and we may find that, you know, there's not enough searches on here, 250. So I'm just going to put a little note here that we got 30 searches on the side. Let's go back to the other ad group. And we may have the main keyword may not be in here. Repair paintless has come up a couple of times. I'm going to get to that in just a second, but I want to come into here, mobile dent removal. Mobile paintless, yeah, paintless seems to keep coming up, right? So let's go see and explore down there. We started in one area, we may end up in another. So auto body for sure. That's 6 in there. Let's just see what they've got there. Auto body parts. Nope. Again, this is not pre-planned. This is exactly how I would do this and what the kind of work and the kind of research that you need to do in order to get these going. So removal paintless. That's kind of interesting. Yeah. Paintless dent removal. Interesting. That's the one that we came up before, and that was 50 searches. I don't want to disregard this yet, but the searches here are looking kind of low. And so this is removal and 50. Let's keep going though. You never know. We might find some nuggets in here. And let's go back. Let's see here. Car scratch. Car scratch repair. I'm going to go ahead and copy this and just see. We may actually use that. So we just need 5 keywords that are bind keywords that total 250. And then we're good to go. Let's keep going down here. Auto dent, dent training, remove. This is another one. Repair paintless. Okay, so there's another one. Paintless dent repair. So that's 90. So this is giving us some hope here. Let me copy that and save that in. And that one has an average of 90 per month. Let's see what else is going on here. Oh, paintless dent repair right there. So that's the big one right there. That's 210. Okay, so that's probably the one right there. And that one was 210. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to do paintless dent repair. And what was the other one down here? Paintless dent repair. Phoenix, was it? Mobile dent removal. Repair might be a better one. We'll look at those too, but I'm going to put the word in Phoenix because sometimes people enter the word Phoenix, even if they don't live in Phoenix. That's, you know, the whole valley is kind of called Phoenix. So let's see what we come up here. Go to keyword ideas. Let's just see what that comes up with. It hasn't. Mobile dent removal. Nope, there's nothing there. Dent removal, maybe. Paintless dent removal. I think we have that one. So we're starting to get a little bit closer here. I'm going to go ahead and copy this one. This is going to be our dent removal. And this is for an average of 50 searches. Put that in our sheet. Paste. And that's 50. And paintless dent removal 50. Yes, we already have that. Mobile dent repair. Yeah, mobile dent repair, that's 30. So let's go ahead and we'll do that one too. So it's possible we could get up to 250 or more. Let's keep doing this. Mobile dent repair. I'm going to do mobile dent repair because I think that's instead of removal, I'm going to put the word in here, repair, and see what comes back. Again, I'm trying to find the keywords that are going to give me, ideally I would like 5 strong keywords that are very similar that give me at least 250 on average searches. Oops, I spelled repair wrong. Apologize for that. And we'll see what comes up here next. I apologize if it's kind of a long video here, but I think the dent repair is looking pretty good. If people would search for that and then they'd find out that it's mobile, that would be even better, right? So let's go ahead and copy that in. And then I'll put that here. Even if they did dental and dent repair at 170, and then they found out when they went to the site that the site would pull up under that term, and they found out that it was actually mobile and they could come out to them, that would be really good as well. So dent repair Phoenix. So that's what I want to do next. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that mobile. So dent repair Phoenix and get ideas. And just dent repair was 170. Dent repair Phoenix is 50. So that's pretty good. It'd be very easy to rank for both of those words, even without doing any research. I just have a feeling it'll be extremely easy to rank for. But we'll go through that process too. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save that one as well. And then that was 50. Okay, so let's see what other things that they have up here. Whoa, paintless dent repair. That was paintless dent repair. That's 210. Do I have that one? I do. So I'm going to hit in paintless dent repair Phoenix. And that's my next one because these two would be extremely easy to rank for together. So that right there will push me over the 250 just these two words, these two keywords right here. Okay, and so what was kind of looking like something that probably couldn't work out is looking more like it could now. So let's take a look at our keywords here that we got so far. Have any other winners? Bumper repair, no, that's completely different. Dent removal, which is 50. Let's see, we may already have that, but let me just copy and paste that to make sure. It was 50 for dent removal. Do we have that one? Dent removal, yes we do. Okay, so let's look at these words. Let me expand these out, make the text larger so it'll be easier for everybody to see this. Okay, so let's take a look at what we've got here. Do we have something we could start to work with? Paintless dent repair. This looks interesting. That's 210. We just add the word Phoenix to it. It adds another 90. So I'm up to 300 so far, which is pretty good. And then on the same home page for dent repair, I could easily rank the same page for dent removal. And certainly for mobile dent repair, no problem. Mobile dent repair. Okay, so I've got that twice, so let me just remove this. Paintless dent repair, 90, which is good. This is paintless. On here, repair Phoenix, so I've got that twice. Alrighty, again, this is unscripted and real. Mobile dent repair, dent removal on here. I think these are kind of my two key ones right here. And paintless dent removal is 50, and paintless dent removal Phoenix might add, because it'd be really easy to just rank for those two on the same page. Might add me another 30 searches or so. Let's see what that comes up. So come in here, go and paste it, space, and I'm going to go ahead and get ideas. And let's see what this comes up with. Maybe there are like 20 extra searches for that. Just add the word Phoenix there, which would be extremely easy to rank for. Okay. So only 10. So not very much, but it'd be, you just add the word Phoenix on the page and you get an extra 10 searches. So it's worth at least jotting down. What else do we have? Do we have anything else that's coming up here? No, these other ones are just coming up that we already have. So, okay. So I've got enough. When I look at these words on here, I've got paintless dent repair. You see how these are almost identical. And then I just add the word Phoenix. So that's easily 300 right there, no problem. This has the word, both of these have the word dent in it. And repair and removal are very similar, so it'd be easy to rank for that plus dent removal on a home page. So that we would be up to 350. Add the word mobile in there. You've got another 30 searches in there, and then dent repair, which is 70 plus 50. So we're up over 300. So this is definitely something we could do, and car scratch would be something we could also rank for as well. So, but the one word that kind of marries these together is dent, 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 okay? And then the word Phoenix, which is easy, and then repair and removal, and the word paintless. So it'd be very easy to rank one page for all of these keywords here, and we've got 300, 350, 400. We got a little over 500 keywords, so this would definitely work initially so far. What I'd want to do next is then just take this and just see. I'm going to type in this one because I'm not at a IP address that is Phoenix. So I need to put the word Phoenix in there so that it will pull up Phoenix results. My guess is this is not going to be very competitive on here. So yeah, Okay, so let's see what these guys are all about. So first of all, whenever you see the Yelps on here, just that means that it's going to be easy to rank for. The other thing that we noticed here is I like it's only a guideline, but 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars. We have no stars, or, well, 3 reviews, no reviews, which they're number one, and then 5 are 19. So we it could be fairly easy to also rank up there. So I've got no problems with that. Um, and I'm just kind of curious on here. Unique dental removal. So I'll take a look at their site. We got some mobile ones here. See the mobile and the paintless on here. Unique dent removal. Kind of cool. So let's. I always recommend going to. So this is kind of a horrible site. It's going to make me click here. Okay, looks cool in the beginning, but there's like 0 call to action. They just wanted to show off that giant page. So this is a perfect example of someone who's into designing websites but has no idea about conversions. Yeah, this is a horrible website. Okay. Yep. Really bad. So anyways, you can do much better. There's no call to action, whatever, request a quote, mapping driving directions on here. So you've got to basically, this is where they are. You've got to come to them. You could easily do a mobile one. That may be one way to go. And so anyone looking for a dent removal, you know, if they're looking and then they get surprised, like, oh wow, I don't even need to go someplace. You'll come out to me and fix it. That's an added bonus, right? So you don't need to just attract only mobile, even if no one's searching for it. Let's take a look at some of these other sites on here. Let's say this Dent Pro. And again, this is for paintless dent repair in Phoenix, Dent Pro. So right now we're doing some field work. We're getting some idea about what this is. This is mobile dent services. We come to your home or office, blah blah blah. Pretty bad site. Free written estimates. Yada yada. Yeah. Whatever. Okay. So yeah, hail damage, big deal here. Paintless, and they're trying to rank here for paintless dent removal, which I haven't searched in the search engines for that. And they list the cars and stuff here. So okay, so I'm thinking, you know, that so far this is looking pretty good on here. Ding Doctor. So that's a pretty good name. Ding Doctor AZ. I wouldn't get the domain that limits you to a state or city, because we want to take these things on a national level. What are these guys all about? Mobile services. Yes, so before and after. This before and after. Actually, it looks pretty slick, right? Oh, they even do airplanes and stuff, anything. Okay, so estimates, before, after, looking pretty good. Alrighty, so this is kind of cool. I liken this. They're doing high-end vehicles. Okay, so I'm getting a little bit more feel for the area in here. Phoenix Dent Repair. This one's #1, but no reviews. That's because the algorithm for the Google 3-pack is not solely based on reviews or SEO. Got hail damage. Yeah, look at that. Bam, 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 bam. And they do some nice jobs there. Yep, it's good, nice before and after pictures. So so we're looking pretty good here. Now what I'm going to do, I know this video is getting long here, but this is the paintless dent repair Phoenix. How about if we just get rid of that and we just go for dent repair Phoenix and see what comes up. Okay, so these same 3 jokers show up here. Which just proves that, yeah, it's easy to rank a page for that. So unique, it shows up again. Phoenix Dent Repair, that's these guys. Mobile bumper, yeah, it's a bumper dent repair. Leave no trace of dent repair. So you might want to include bumper and dental as you get to know, because I keep saying dental. So Nick's mobile auto paint repair. So mobile paint, bumper, and dent repair in Phoenix, Arizona. Yeah, not bad, not bad. So this is definitely a viable niche, I would say so far, looking pretty good. We go back to our keyword list again and take a look at this. Car scratch repair, I'm going to go ahead and shoot that one in there too. But yeah, over 500 searches. When you combine these together, especially when you link together all the dent, I can't talk, all the dents on here. So let's go ahead. I'm going to do that for Phoenix, the scratch repair Phoenix. And again, I'm typing in the word Phoenix because I don't have an IP address for Phoenix. So this is the only way I can pull these up. Repair. I'll go and search for this. And okay, so Phoenix Dent Repair shows up again here. So they're doing some pretty good SEO. And mobile repair, paint repair, these. So some other sites that are kind of focused a little bit more on the, yep, there's Nick's again. Okay, so we got the right kind of keywords because these kind of same sites keep coming up here. Mobile scratch repair, I don't want to click on this and charge it. So far we're looking pretty good here. I would say this one is definitely worthy of researching further. What do we need to do next? We need to look at the average cost of these things on here. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll end this video, and I'll start off on the next video right where I left off, where we'll start to dig in deeper. We'll look at the average prices for the pay-per-click. I will look at what the cost would be for something like this, and could we charge 4 to 5 times the average suggested bid here, and everyone makes a profit. You make a profit, the end user makes a profit, and then after that we'd want to go out and we'd want to do the same thing in other cities, do the same research, make sure everything's consistent across the country that you're working in, and then it could be a potentially viable niche. So I will talk to you on the next video. Alrighty, continuing where we left off in the last video, what I did is I simply just typed in the average cost for dent repair and in Phoenix, and I came up with this site, which is pretty interesting. It's automated, so what happens if you click on the hood here and then step 2, you look at the size. Let's say it's a $50 size dent, how many dents, 1 to 5, and it's going to give you the actual price at that point, or the estimate. And that's $225. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to go back and do it again. That was for the hood, and maybe I'll do like the left door, and we'll do the same size, $50, say 1 to 5, and we'll submit. And it's $125 there. And let's go back and look at, so doors are pretty inexpensive. Let's take a look at the left fender, same size, 1 to 5. So what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to get an idea of the average cost. This is $150. So I would keep doing that. I would also research some other areas and just search online for costs and estimates for paintless dent removal. And see what you come up with. But based on this right now, I would say it'd be pretty safe to probably say that $150 would be the average. So we need to kind of figure out, when we look at that, when it's 150 average, how much can we charge, and can we charge 4 to 5 times more than the average pay-per-click? So what I did is offline, rather than bore you with this stuff, is that I have taken the dent removal. And of course we did, let me change this to 150 on that. It could be higher, could be less. I would do some more research. I frankly didn't do enough research here in this example, but you get the idea, and that's the point. So what I did is this is top 5 keywords. I've got 7 here, so that's just a guideline. I know that I can I can easily rank one homepage for all of these, because that simply is, when we break it down, there's only a few words that we're trying to rank for. There's dent, right? Dent is in all of the keywords, so dent is one word. Removal, that's 2. Repair, mobile, and the city name. So very easy to rank one page for all those keywords. Very, very simple to do because they're all so closely related. Now, the city searches on here, we did Phoenix on that. We did the paintless dent removal, so that's 50 per month. And we added all these up and we got 650, which exceeds the minimum guideline of 250 per month. So we're looking good there, right? The cost per click, these would be the high end, by the way, which is going to average out to about $3.94. And then I need to ask myself, if I were to charge, let's say so they call this $4, 4 times that. So 4 times 4, 16. Okay, if I were to charge $16, and I'll just do that here. So if I charge $16, right, and that would be 4 times what the pay-per-click is. And these are just guidelines, but they're good, safe guidelines to follow. But there's a lot of wiggle room in there. And let's say that the average person, if you were to send 10 of these calls to them, okay, that's going to cost them a total of $160. They're going to close, if they're halfway decent at all, they must be able to close at least 50% of those calls. So 50% of those calls, they're going to get 5, right? And how much are they charging? They're collecting on average 150. So they're going to be getting on that, their total revenue is going to be $750, okay, less the $160 you charge for the leads. That's a win-win. They're still profitable, you're profitable, so initially those numbers work, okay? Now you can charge a little bit more, a little bit less. You have to play with it with the marketplace and see what actually happens, but this is a good starting point. You understand how that math works there, right? Okay, so that looks good there. Let's now, so this initially passes the criteria for Phoenix, but don't stop there. You want to investigate other cities and do the same process. Now, I went ahead and did that, and I have San Diego here. Now, San Diego didn't work out, surprisingly. Only 130 searches, which is below the 250. So I'm not definitely San Diego is not going to work. And I started going across the United States. I did Houston. I got 900 and an average of 185. So this looks pretty good right here. Then I looked at Austin, which is a little bit smaller population than San Diego, and surprisingly, they had more. So so that's 380, which meets it. And here's the cost. Cost is a little bit more pay-per-click there on average. And then I went to Atlanta, got 700 searches in here. So far, this looks pretty good. I would continue to search other cities on here. And I would want at a minimum, it just depends on you, but I would want a minimum of 15 to 20 cities that would meet the criteria for this. And let's say that on average, okay, on average on here, you're getting per city, per lead gen site, let's say that you're getting, $300, and then you've got this in 20 cities. You can do the math there and figure out, that's going to be $9,000. That's going to be, that would be, per month averaging out. Just estimates. There's no guarantees there, of course, but that's how I kind of figured that stuff out. Is it going to be worth it for me to do this? Because obviously it's not going to work in every city. It's just too little searches for me to want to rank this in San Diego. But for these other cities, I would definitely definitely work on that. So let's now, just based on these cities here, again, I would do more research with other cities. And again, you have the list of the cities down here in these other tabs. You can start to investigate and look at those. What I would be looking at here next is that if these were my only searches, my only cities available, which obviously they're not, you have to look at this and kind of analyze which one would be the best one to start with, right? Well, initially, what I would be looking at just purely from these numbers here is I would be saying probably Houston because it has the highest number of searches and it has the lowest pay per click, which in the future, if you decide to also combine this with pay per click marketing to drive, there's plenty of cushion here for you to be able to make a profit, because if it's on average, let's say $2 per click, and you're charging 16 per call, and let's say that it takes you, 5 clicks in order to get a call, that's going to be $10. So the spread there is going to be 16. You see how that works? Plus you'd have the site available too. So you're making profits from both the organic and the paid. And that's how you can really grow and scale quickly. So that one looks really good right there. Okay. And then the second one would probably be, well, I got Phoenix at 750, pretty close. Maybe at Atlanta or Phoenix, kind of a tie, but that's how I follow that. Now the other thing you'd want to do, initially these are looking pretty good, is that now we'd want to go and look, the next thing we'd want to come across here is the Google 3-pack reviews. Okay, so we'd want to come in here and take a look at those. So let's go ahead and just look at the Google 3-pack reviews for these. We're looking, and then on average we want about no more than 5 on here, but again, there's wiggle room for there. So let's go take a look at real world examples there and see what we find. Okay, so I went in here and I simply typed in the #1 keyword, which has the most searches in all cities, because that's the one that's going to give us the greatest impact. That was paintless dent repair. Put the city name here. Even though we're not going to do San Diego, I've got the data there, so I want to complete it out to see if I can see any kind of patterns. And so what I've got here is I've got no reviews, 5, and 1. So I put in here 0, 5, and 1 here. So San Diego 0, 5, and 1 under the column of the 3-pack number of reviews. And then simply just did the same thing as I move on. This one was in Phoenix, and here I've got 0, 19, and 3. So under Phoenix, I simply put in here 0, 19, and 3. And I just did the same thing for all of these. So I have Atlanta, I've got 4, 0, and 0, right? So there's Atlanta, 4, 0, and 0. What was kind of interesting is that, and you'll find this in little pockets, is that these, there's going to be like in Austin, there's some competition going on here. So that's San Diego, Atlanta, Houston, repair. Anyways, in Austin, let me type this in here. We've got these two guys who are really competing. We've got 20, 39, and 0. So, and this, there'll be separate training so you can understand what the algorithm is for these and why. This one has no reviews yet. It's sitting at #2. And a lot of people think, well, just the reviews are what pushes this. It's just part of it. But anyways, this is something too, you have to kind of determine whether you want to come in here and actually do this, because we have 20, none, and then 39. These two guys, King of Dent, Ding, and then DentWorks Austin, they are obviously competing for business very heavily out there. That's something that you want to factor in. So this is why it's really critical to do your research so that you find out all these nuances. Now we have some more data here. So based on the reviews, ideally what I want is I want the highest number of searches, right, per month at the lowest cost per Google AdWords click, and the least amount of reviews. That's the most ideal situation. So out of these so far, which of those fits the criteria the most? I'm thinking again right here, look at that, 0, 5, and 2. And that's 900 searches and low. So far Houston is looking like the best start. And then the next one would be definitely Atlanta on here, because 4 reviews, 0 and 0, 700 searches and low. And then the third out of these 3 would be the Phoenix area. Okay, see how that works? So that's the way you do that. I would definitely, this looks like a very viable niche here. The other things that we want to be doing is looking and studying the websites of these areas. So here we are in, let's say Houston was going to be one that looks the most, the easiest, has the most searches, right, and the least amount of reviews up here, which is good. So I can start to look at some of these sites on here. Dent Dogs. That's a pretty darn good domain name, by the way. It has the word dents and dog. It doesn't seem spammy at all. And start to get to know these websites. There's no strong call to action on these. This is, it's hard for me to even find a phone number or email. So very small time. Video, photos, rates. So this would be part of your research here. So you kind of get to know what other people are charging on here. On average, the rating cost is $65 to $150 for a single dent. Discounts can be offered in vehicles. Hail damage ranges from $300 to $3,000. So we were pretty close with the $150 range on that end of it. Probably $65 would be something for a really small dent. But you get the idea there. Let's take a look at some other sites here, see what they're kind of looking at, and we can kind of investigate and kind of see what we're up against here. Dentchampion.net. Dent Sharks, that's a pretty good one too. Dent Dogs, Dent Sharks. Somebody probably kind of got the idea from the other person. Alrighty, so looking, yeah, I'd have some videos start on here. That's again, not the services. They don't have any prices on here. Okay, so we get kind of an idea. This is part of the research process. You want to see what you're coming up against with these. And I would come in here and I would take a look at this. Dents are us. Okay. Alrighty. Mobile paintless dent removal service. It shows this. There's some before and after. So when you're doing this website, you're going to have to get some before and after photos. You could probably buy some dented before and after photos. Make sure that you purchase them. Don't swipe them from somebody. From a Photoshop, you're obviously going to need pictures of cars, reviews, contacts, us, home. Lifetime guarantee, you'll save money, free estimates, 100% customer satisfaction. So some pretty okay, you kind of get a feel. None of these sites are really, really sophisticated. And so far it's looking pretty good. I mean, I'm not seeing any other red flags come up here. And I would go through that with each city on here. So let's come back and just kind of wrap this up here. So we've got these on here. So this is how this plays out, okay? Let's just review these on here. Yes, the column says top 5 keywords, but it'll be these, because these are so closely related. We just have the main word dent, remove, repair, mobile, and the city name. So very easy to rank for all 7 of these keywords for a single home page. That's why I included it in there. And our main keyword is going to be the paintless repair, right? And that's pretty much in every city. Yep, the paintless dent repair. That's our big one. Yep. Paintless dent repair, and dent removal would be next. Paintless dent and dent removal, dent repair changes a little bit per city. But that gives you a good idea there. We have a very clear idea of the number of searches, the cost, We're getting a clear idea of the costs, so what we could charge. And I would make sure that you could go out. I would be looking for, again, about 15 to 20 cities. And if you only found 10, that's okay, but just realize that, you want to scale these things out. That's the idea. And when we're working off of the master website, and then you have different cities attached to it, after a certain point, it becomes much easier to rank. And then you can kind of estimate, okay, this is for each site, say an average, I'm going to get 300 per month revenue. And if I had 10 of these sites, then it's going to be $3,000 a month, which is not bad. It's going to be, more or less passive income as it comes in. There'd be very little to need to upkeep that. Okay. So that's the way you do that. I'm going to continue with this, with the other example, so that we can look at some different niches on here. I had piano movers, buy cars, motorcycle accident attorney. And so I'm going to begin that process on the next video, and we'll just start this process again. Again, I want you to get a feel for what it would be like to do this, give you the best instruction that we possibly can, because I think you can see how important it is doing the proper research on here. But so far, for the dent removal, the paintless dent removal, that's definitely a viable niche. I'm sure if I continue to do research across the United States, I would be able to find at least 10, 15 cities, no problem, that meets my criteria here. Okay, so I'll talk to you on the next video. Okay, so we're back here, and we're just continuing where I left off on basically the cash for cars, cash for clunkers. And this is definitely, these are all very similar on here. My big ones are obviously cash for cars, that's 260, right? Cash for clunkers, 320, that's even larger. So cash for junk cars, 90, no problem. See how cash for junk cars and cash for cars, the only difference is the word junk. So extremely easy to rank for both of those on the same page. We can do the clunkers one. It's very similar. Junk cars for cash is just a different way to kind of flip this around, but that's only 20 on that. And cash for cars, that's the same as the other one, just adding the word Phoenix in there. Again, very easy to rank for that for the same word. And we buy junk cars. So I'm digging this so far. So the next thing I want to know, I know this is good, so I kind of want to know, what do these guys make for profit? I'm thinking it's pretty good if they're any good at their business. So I just typed in buy cars for cash business. Just started researching on here, and I got kind of lucky, and I came up here with this one. And I actually watched this series here. So this is the profit on here. I actually remember watching this, but it says right here, he actually invested $200,000 into this company. And today the cars make over 10,000 per month on here, and Andrew Jonathan now make around 2,000 per car in profit. So I don't know if every car dealer out there is going to make 2,000 per car profit, but what if they make 500? Probably pretty safe. What if they make 750? What if they make somewhere between $500 and $1,000? I think that's pretty realistic and very conservative. So based on that, now I can start filling out the form on here. So I'm going to estimate, just basis, I would do more research if this was a niche you're really going to get into, but you can see how initially easy it is to kind of get a good idea. So I'm going to say around 500, let's say around 500 to maybe $1,000 profit per car. Obviously depends on how someone runs their business and stuff, but here where you've got a really good businessman here coming in, shaking it up, he's able to really take their profits up substantially. So I'm going to assume most people don't have the kind of guidance or investor like this, so maybe 2,000 might be too high. So that's what I'm coming up with. That's my reasoning for 500 to 1,000. And I like the fact that the pay-per-clicks on here are really low relative to the profit versus the niche we were looking at earlier, which was the first kind of case study niche that we looked at, where that one for the dent, we're looking at somewhere maybe around $150, okay, and that's someone coming out to your place. And here, obviously, the margins are going to be much higher, so we could charge more per lead, right? So, kind of liking that. So, next thing I need to do is I'm going to enter these into my worksheet here, those keywords. And then we're going to go and we just took a look at Phoenix. We'll take a look at some other cities too, and we'll continue that process. So I'm just going to pause this video. Okay, so this is how I kind of broke it down. I could potentially, you could do a little bit more research and find some other very similar words, but they're very, very similar. So we have cash for clunkers. That's our number one. And then cash for clunkers Phoenix, which if you can rank for this one, you can rank for the other one. It's the same amount of work. So adds an extra 20 on that. So up to 340. Cash for cars, that's our next biggest one. And then cash for cars Phoenix, that has another 30 on that. And again, if you can rank for this, you can rank for that. So these two keywords, plus with the city, is really only like two keywords, the way that I look at it. And then cash for cars, okay, that's 90, and then we buy junk cars, that's 50. So there's 6 keywords. I could easily rank one page for all of these. Understand you can't rank one page for all keywords, so that's what I'm getting at here. And I total this up. We've got some decent amount of searches, 770. The average pay-per-click is just shy of $5. And we're saying that they're probably going to be making between, on average, $500 maybe to $1,000 profit per vehicle that they purchase, maybe up to 2,000 if they run their business well, like the example that I gave earlier. So now I'm going to run through and I'm going to do the exact. I'm going to take these keywords and I'm going to run them through San Diego. And so that's the next thing that we're going to do here. And so I'm just going to go ahead and do this in front of you live so that you can get a kind of a feel for it. I was going to pause the video and then come back with the results, but I thought, you know what, if you can fast forward this if you find this extremely boring. But I think it's important to kind of look over my shoulder and kind of see exactly how we're doing this on here. So I'm going to replace these with San Diego. So when people say that, you know, they're afraid that, you know, all niches are going to get taken up, or I just don't buy that. There's so many niches out there that it's just endless. And you can sub niche and stuff. Okay, so I know I misspelled that. That's okay. I'll just make that correction real quick. Okay, so there's my list on that image. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to go to the selected areas, and now I'm going to get completely different. So I'm going to remove all, and there's my San Diego, and I did correct the spelling for me, and I'm going to do nearby. So that's going to pop open the map, and you're going to get some nearby areas on here. So definitely Chula Vista, possibly Carlsbad. Sure. I mean, if someone's looking to sell a used car, they're obviously short on cash. They're going to be searching down here. They're probably not going to be searching in their own area. That would just make sense to me. And I'm going to add these areas in here too. I think it makes a lot of sense. And this one too. And yeah, so we'll just kind of fill this up here. Yep, that looks good. Yep. Okay, so for right now, that's fine. That's going to cover this general area here. So we'll go ahead and press done and save. And then I'm going to hit my first keyword, which is going to be the big money one. That's the one that has the most searches, right? Cash for clunkers. And let's see here. I'll undo that. Whoops. Edit. This is probably why you don't want to watch me do these. Okay, so cash for clunkers on here, copy, and I we already had it in here. So cash for clunkers. Remove the city name. We'll get some ideas. We got our 11 selected areas, and see San Diego's again coming down a little bit slow, but compared to others, but that's okay. We have 90 and $4.33. So we'll do the 90 and $4.33. Cash for cars is our next big one, right? So cash for cars, copy, and put that in. We'll see what comes up here and paste it in and get ideas. So this should be our second highest one on here, and we'll see what it comes up with. Wow, see, that's a surprise, right? So that's cash for cars. Cash for junk cars, cash for cars. Let me get ideas. This is for this 11 selected areas on here. That's looking enormous, right? That looks fantastic. So let's go ahead and so they don't do the clunkers there. That's just maybe a terminology that's maybe used more in the Phoenix area, right? So this is a 744. Okay, so we're looking good there. Cash for cars, we'll add the San Diego in the end there. Get ideas for that. I assume that would probably be, it's going to be less than the 880. Maybe we'll get another 200 or 300 searches out of that. Cash for car San Diego, yep, 210, looking very good at 732. So 210 searches and 732 for the price. So far I'm liking this. And the clunkers wasn't really big. That's just not a terminology that they use in San Diego, looks like. But let's go ahead and see what it comes up with. So I'll go ahead and enter this in and get some ideas. So this could be a pretty profitable little niche here if you got to know this on here. So just that's it, 20 and 492. So it's okay, 20 and 492. Okay, and then cash for junk cars. So let's see how this number turns out for the San Diego area. And go ahead and copy this in here. So this is what this takes. You could probably find some other keywords too to go along with this, maybe some more that might be a little bit more specific to the San Diego market. Okay, so there we go. Cash for junk cars, 50. So not too bad. 50, and I think that was around $4.50, we'll call it. And we buy junk cars. So just put that in there. We buy junk cars, and let's see what this comes up to. Keyword idea. Please try again. We buy junk cars. So 10. It's not a really big one here, but we found the main one, which is going to be cash for cars. That's definitely one that's huge there. And cash for clunkers and Phoenix was the big one there. This is why you've got to do your research on that. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and tally up the numbers and see where we are with this. Yeah, so that's really because the cash for cars on that. Now before we move on here, I'm kind of curious as far as the star ratings go. This is my main keyword here. So this is, and I'm gonna have to put the word San Diego in it because I do not have a San Diego IP address, so that it pulls up San Diego results. And we'll see what the competition is. I mean, 880 searches is quite a bit, so it would be surprising if there was no, as little competition on there. But we'll see. Cash for clunkers, you can see donating a car, cash San Diego. Yeah, so we have 5, 10, and 13. A little more competitive now. I would say that 5, 5, and 5 is kind of what you want to go for. It just means you got to get some more reviews. Not that many more reviews, so I wouldn't let this 5, 10, and 13 deter me from doing this. In fact, I'm going to put those right over here while I've got that San Diego in the Google 3-pack review. And the Google pack review again was 5, 10, and 13. So 5, 10, and 13. Okay, and we come down here. I always like to see the Yelps up here. That means it's easier to rank for. CashForCarsSanDiego.net on here. Fast Cash. You might want to even, I would take this. This is guys ranking pretty good. Cash for Cars, he's doing Sell My Cars too. We Buy Cars, get a free quote. We Buy Classic Cars, blah, 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 blah. Cash, not a bad site. So I'm just kind of curious if this pulls up some other keywords that we might be missing. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to modify search. I'm going to remove this one and I'm going to put this guy's site in here, or gal's, and this comes back, and Google will come back with AdWord group ideas they think that this site should be going for. Again, it's not a perfect system on here because we got used. I'm really not into that. It's more the buying, sell a vehicle, cash for mine. That's 2 and 10. We've pretty much got those keywords down. It doesn't, buy cash and sell mine. Not really. I think we got the main keywords here. Not seeing anything that would really excite me there. So so I'm going to continue this process here, and we're going to continue to go through down the other cities, and we'll come up with maybe one that would be best to start. So far right now we've got the Phoenix on here, and the Phoenix, Cash for Cars, let's see what that is. I would come up here, copy that, and let's see what it is for. I'll type in the word Phoenix, and let's see what the competition is like here. So for this one, I've got 1 review, 1, and 7. So 1, 1, and 7. So I'm just going to go ahead, and that's a pretty good keyword right there. So I'm just going to put 1, 1, and 7. But this is our main one, so I want to see if it pulls up different cash for clunkers. It pulls up different set of websites. Cash for cars here. We'll do cash for clunkers. I think it's probably pull up the same ones. Pretty close. And Phoenix, and let's see what we've got here, because that's our big one, right? Yeah, basically the same ones except for this one. Came clunkers 52. So 1 review, and 52. I wouldn't worry too much about that. That's 52 is a little bit, no situation is going to be different, or is going to be the same. So we got 1, 1, and 52 on here, and it's changing it to dates, which I don't like, but we'll just keep it like that. So I'm going to continue with this process with some other cities, and I think you've seen enough of how I do it. So I will pause and come back with the results. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of wrap this up here. So we started out with, we found this in the first video. I can't remember where it was, just Buy Cars. It was in some directory, and Buy Cars has turned into this particular niche here, which is more of a cash for cars type niche. something I never knew about before, but it's looking like a very, very viable niche. So we start out with Phoenix. We have an average of 770 searches per month, and the average pay-per-click under $5. We're going to estimate, based on the little research that I've done, although I'd encourage you to do much more than I did, they're going to profit around $500 to $1,000. So it'd be very simple at this point to charge, let's say 5 times this amount. So that's $25. And if you send them 10 calls and they close half of them, they're going to make quite a bit of profit. So you could potentially charge much more than $25 per live call, but you have to play with the niche and you have to get to know the niche and see what actually happens. We're just talking about theory and assumptions here until we get out in the real world and really get to know the business. And from the business, you never know. I don't know. These may be people who are doing this kind of stuff. It might be a lower closing rate because of, maybe people are shopping around, or maybe they call, they think they want to sell it, but then they realize that dealers aren't going to give them very much for it. And so maybe at that point, it might reduce the amount of closes. I mean, I don't know. So you have to kind of think of these things. So these are just guidelines to start out with. So far looking pretty good though. San Diego's looking great. We have considerably more searches there. And our competition on here are stars. So the stars for the cash for clunkers is, the first position is 1 star, the second position is 1 star, and then 52. And then for cash for cars, when I put in that keyword, this in the Google places, it's 1, 1, and 7. When I do the same thing for San Diego, I have, you're going to get things where no map listing shows, and that's fine. Don't freak out about it. So cash for clunkers in the San Diego area, no Google Maps listing shows. So there's no stars there. The 880, that's the big one. That's 5, 10, and 13. I know the guideline says 5, but you know what? That's pretty good. So go ahead and close this. Close. I need to turn that off. Okay, so then we come down here. So basically the same people are ranking for this. Okay, so again, I wouldn't shy away from it. It looks pretty good. I would dive right into it. Houston. Wow, look at all the searches in Houston. That's awesome. And the price is lower. And look at the ratings. The ratings are lower. These are the ratings for each keyword in here. So this one showed up no Google Maps, and this one showed up with Google Maps. Cash for cars, that was 0, 0, and 2, 0, 0, and 0. So out of these 3 areas right here, if I was gonna, and I would do research in more cities, okay, I would at least do research in another 3 to 4, maybe even dig down even deeper. It's worth it to take the time to get to understand these. But this one out of these 3, the one I would start with would be this one, simply because it has the most searches, it has the least amount of competitions from a ranking standpoint, from ratings, and it has the lowest cost per click on here. So that's where I would start with it. Again, the other process here that you want to do is take these major keywords on here. So this one right here, We Buy Junk Cars in Houston, and take a look at the websites, get to know what your competition is doing. How are they setting up their websites? That's also another process here that you want to go through. Let's see here. So let's see, this is not showing any. Okay, so this website, this had 6 Google reviews. Auto Wrecker. We Buy Junk Cars in Houston. Let's go to the rank in a video on here. So We Buy Junk Cars Houston. Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at the websites, kind of get to know what's going on here. Cash for cars looking pretty good right there. It's got a form to fill out. Easy steps to follow. Call, step 2, we can come pick it up. You receive cash on the spot. Explains how it's done. Okay, not too bad. I like the steps, the 1, 2, 3 steps. Cash for my car today, free removal. So you kind of get an idea of the wordings here. A lot of them are like trying to make it, we'll come pick it up for you. We'll give you the estimate. We'll give you cash same day, this kind of stuff. Usually these are people who need cash right away for whatever reasons. And so let's say family owned and operated, blah, blah, blah. Nobody really cares. Houston Junk Car Removal Services. So
welcome to Frames Auto Recycling and Junk Car Removal, where we buy junk cars for cash today.
Okay. Why choose us? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. anyways, this is more for junk cars on here, but so far looking good. So I don't know, maybe when they're doing for the we buy junk cars, maybe the profit margin there is smaller, probably is, I'm assuming, than for like buying a nicer car and then looking to turn it around on the market. So these are the kind of things that you want to consider as you get to know your market. Here, paid top dollar for junk cars and stuff. So that's the process here. I'm going to go ahead as far as for the research going on here. We'd follow the same thing. So let's just compare this with the first one that we did for the mobile dent removal. Okay, we have more searches on average for the buy cars, right? So right away I'm kind of liking the buy car niche better. There's a greater profit margin here. Here we determine is about $150. And possibly for the junk car, maybe not the junk cars, but we buy cars for cash. I think there's going to be more profit involved in there. 500,000. It require more research. The cost pay per click on here just about the same. It's just a little bit more. You got 480, $5, 460, and then the averages up here are just about the same, around $4 on here. So all things being equal, the way I would look at these two niches on here is I would be in favor for the cash for cars niche at this point, okay? And we just do the same thing when we got down here. I got, piano movers. There's another one. Who knows what that is? Motorcycle accident attorney, we'd go through the same process there. I'm not going to do it now. I think I've given, I think by now, if you watch these videos in full length, you get the idea about what you need to do. And it's so critical to not cut corners here. I wouldn't stop here and go, oh, Cash for Clunkers is a definitely go site. It looks like a really good niche so far, but you want to do some more cities. You want to do some more research in here. Maybe there are some people, maybe there are some dealers that only do cash for cars, and then there's others that just pick up junk cars. So maybe that's actually two separate niches. You see what I'm saying? So the cash for cars might be buying the more nicer cars, whereas cash for clunkers or junk cars on here, a little bit less searches, that may actually be a separate niche. The same people who want the cash for cars phone calls may not want anything to do with the junk cars. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? You need to kind of research this a little bit more. Okay, but even then, if that was two separate niches, the junk car and then we buy cars for cash, then it's still enough searches. Okay, and you can actually create two home pages, and so that's where I have this second column up here, and that's a second set of top 5 keywords. Again, 5 is just a rough, so it could be 3 keywords, could be 7, something like that. The point is that a group of keywords, long tail, that you could rank a particular page for. So you may have a cash for cars. You may divide the cash up into cars. So you may have, you know what, we're going to do cash for cars, and we're going to have that as one set of keywords. And on the same website, we'll have a second page for Houston that is just all geared towards junk cars and pick up junk cars and pick up those kind of cars, because it might be two separate kind of niches. I don't know yet. Okay, so you need to, again, that's why it's so important to do your research here. And when people contact our support and say, what's a good niche to get into? As you can see, you cannot possibly answer that question like, oh yeah, I just happen to have 20 good niches here. You have to do your research on here, and obviously the more research, the more data, the better you get to know this, the more. So you may want to, as part of the research, if this was a niche you wanted to get into, is call some of these sites that show up for cash for cars, and then you could pose as a customer and say, hey, I've got an old clunker beat up car, would you be interested in that? And call around a few cities and find out. And they may say, no, we only do, workable cars, and we only buy, cars that we can turn around and sell. So they have to be a little bit in nicer shape. So you may find it out that way. It'd be very easy to determine, but worth it, rather than going in here and creating a website and then start doing backlinking to rank one site for both of these, only to find out later, because you didn't do proper research, that for this particular site here in San Diego, you know, the cash for cars, you end up selling the leads. But they also end up getting some of these junk car leads because it's on the same page, and people are also finding that too. They're like, hey, we don't want these leads because you didn't do the proper research to find out on that. See, so that's what you've got to do. You got to really think these things out. Once you think you have a good niche, you've done all the numbers, sit back, relax, call up the companies, act as a customer, a potential customer, pose some questions on that, do your research on here. Really, really important. So, Chris Winters, we'll talk to you on the next video. In this video here, what we're going to do is we're going to continue where we left off. However, now we're going to go into a different niche. Instead of the mobile dent removal, we're going to go into buy cars. So that's going to be, again, I don't know anything about this niche, so we're going to discover it together. So we're looking at like maybe cash for cars, buy junk cars, this kind of thing. I don't know what's out there. I don't know if it's going to be feasible, but let's go ahead and jump into it. So because I know so very little about this, and I don't know if that's going to be buying keyword on here, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take this and I'm going to put this in here, buy cars. Phoenix. I don't think it's going to pull up what I'm looking for. Find used cars, no. Cheap cars for sale. Phoenix Cars and Trucks. Sell your car to us for cash. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Cash for cars. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this website, because I just know nothing about this on here, or even the keywords. But so I'm going to take this URL, and this time I'm going to put that in here, and then Google's going to come back and tell me what keywords they think this particular site should be ranking for, should be well, not ranking, but should be purchasing for AdWords on here. Let me refresh that. And this is the method I would do if I saw a niche. I'm just kind of brainstorming. I'm not quite sure. I don't know that much about it. I need some more ideas for it. This is what I would be doing. So this is my locations. Yes, landing page, paste, and get ideas. Again, Google will look at this particular URL, and it's going to give me some AdWord ideas. Cars for sale. We're not doing cars for sale. We're looking for people who basically need to sell their car for cash fast. So not car dealers. Cash for my car. So that's one right there. That's a group. Phoenix Cars. Cash for your car. There's another group. Car fast. Sell my junk. That's possibly another one too. So buy junk, that's possibly it too. Junk cars, maybe. Cash for clunkers, there's another one. So this is starting to kind of grow here. So I'm going to get out a fresh text sheet here, and I'll just actually delete this. We'll just start working on this one downward, and I'll start getting some of these keywords down. And we may have started with, cash for cars. We may end up finding out that, cash for clunker cars is better for junk cars. So let's take a look at this AdWord group. We have 6 in here. Cash for clunkers. I kind of like that. That might be the name of a franchise or something. We don't know, or a particular company out there, but we'll find out. So. But this is looking pretty promising right there, because just one keyword right there, cash for clunkers, has already got me with 300 searches. And what's that price at $5 and say 35 cents. I'm going to increase the text size here so we can read that better. Okay, so cash for clunkers, that's pretty good right there. Cache for clunker program, clunkers for cache. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this and I'm going to go back in and see what else I can find. That meets the criteria, but there's got to be some others. Cache for junk. Let's see what we've got here. Junk cars for cache, that's a possibility. Cache for junk cars, there's 90, so I'm kind of digging that. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this one. So see how we started out with one possible niche, and it may lead us to a completely different niche. I'm going to paste that, and let's increase that back up to 18 so we can read it. And that was 90 searches, and the 90 searches for how much? About 7.25. Okay. So far we got cache for clunkers and cars and for junk cars. So I could rank one page for that, no problem. Let's see what else we got here. Junk a car for cache. These are just variations of it. Junk cars for cache. Didn't have a lot of searches for it, at least in the Phoenix area, but it might in other cities, so we might as well jot it down. And it's looks like a bind keyword. And that was 20, and I think that was what, around $7.30. Okay. And I increase the size of that. So again, I haven't pre-planned this out or anything, so I just want you to get a feel of this is exactly the kind of situations you would come up, and I want to share with you how I would deal with them as we research for various niches in there. Phoenix cars, cache for your car. That was the original one, so let's take a look at this. Cache for cars. Kind of looking for sell your car for cache. Cache for cars. There's not that many searches on here, so maybe. I'm going to go ahead and jot this one down. And that's 10 and about 950 a piece on here. Not a lot of searches, but I might use it to terrible at this kind of stuff. 10 and then what was the price there? Okay, so about 958, and that's kind of on the high end. So let's increase the text so we can all read that. Cache for your cars. Sell your car for cash today. Tow your car for cash. Let's see. Let's come back here and see what else we come up here. Buy used. Car fast. Sell junk. That's what we just did. Sell a vehicle. That might be more for looking for paid advertising or advertising on a car that you can post yourself for sale. Buy junk. Do we sell my car now? No. Online car, junk cars. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, so that I got kind of started there from using their website here. So now I'm going to take some of these keywords and let's see what we can come up with. And the cache for clunkers, that's a big one. I'm kind of worried that might be like a franchise name, so it may not be applicable to all areas, but we'll know that by searching actually online for it in the search engines. But let me first see if I can get some more ideas from here. And so I already found it. Oops. Okay, so pardon me while I get this here and get ideas. While I'm doing this, I'm going to go ahead and put that in. I use the word Phoenix because I don't have a Phoenix IP address. So I want to pull up Phoenix areas. Donate your running car. Cash for clunkers. Cash and the number 4 clunkers might be an interesting to do. We like this because, well, this one's got 52, but King of Clunkers, cash for cars, but these have just one. So we're looking pretty good so far. Cash for junk cars, cash for clunkers, sell my junk car. And we have ads on here, money for clunkers, cash for clunkers. So yeah, this looks pretty good. Cash for my car. So let's come back here and see if this is, give us some more ideas. Yes, definitely. I'm liking this. Cash for cars, 260. Definitely like that. So I'm going to go ahead and so copy that, put that on my clipboard. And that was 240 searches, which is great. So this might turn out to be a really good niche. And then $6.07. Okay, and I'll just continue with this. And you can kind of see how the only way we could discover this is by actually diving in and researching it. Cars for sale by owner, no. Sell my car for cash. Do we have that one? Cash for clunkers? No, we don't. That's only 20 searches. Sell car for cash, another 20. So the sell car for cash variation could be a possible one, and it's very closely related to these others. And that was 20 searches, and we have about, let's just say $8. Sell my car for cash, sell my car fast. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and jot that one down as well. Sell car for cash, I think I just did, right? Yeah, okay. So let's just continue researching this. Cash for cars, Phoenix, that's 30. Okay, I like that. And we'll go and paste that in here. I realize this is probably kind of boring to watch, but it's educational and you get to see the exact process, which is a little bit different than what we did for the first niche example, right? Okay, so cash for cars, Phoenix. So we definitely have got probably a pretty viable niche here. Just trying to find, I'd like to find, see, I've got the cash for cars at 240, cash for clunkers at 320. So right there, I've got 2 heavy hitters, and I'm trying to find some second closest keywords that are very close to this one and this one here that I can easily add to it and rank for. Salvage cars for sale, no. We buy junk cars, 50. There we go. So that's a good one. Put that in here. So this one's an interesting niche because it does have a lot of keywords when you start to add them up, but they're all kind of a little bit different. They're not as closely related. So this might be an example where we have to possibly rank for 2 main groups of keywords on 2 different pages. Sometimes that happens if the keywords aren't close enough related. We buy junk cars, buy used cars, 110. I like that, but I'm not quite sure. I'm going to take this one and put it in the search engine and see if it comes up with the kind of niche that I'm looking for. So cash for clunkers, definitely. paste this in here and we'll search. We'll see what kind of search results come up here. Phoenix used car sale, used car dealer Phoenix, used cars Phoenix. No, that's not it, right? So, but if we come back here, we've got the cash for junk cars, cash for cars. Let's go ahead. I'm going to put that in the search engines in Phoenix, and then with the sites that I pull up, I'm going to take the actual sites and put them back into the Google Keyword Planner and see what we come up with. So good. See, I like this. One review, one no reviews. Cash for cars, Phoenix on that. So let's go ahead, and this guy's ranking up here right at number 1. I'm going to go ahead and copy this, and I'm going to go back and modify search, and I'm going to remove that in the landing page. I'm going to put in his URL, and again, Google will look at this particular site here and say, you know, these are the AdWords, the paid AdWords you should probably be considering. So let's look at the AdWord groups on here. Car dealers, car for sale, no. I mean, you can see how it's not a perfect system, right? Because this guy obviously isn't selling cars, but cash for junk, yes. Phoenix cars, no. Cash for cars, yes. Sell junk, yes. Sell a vehicle. Junk cars, yes. Online cars, no. Cash for clunkers, yes. So it gives us some pretty good groups on here. Buy cash, buy cars for cash, Phoenix used. So I'm going to jump in here. It's $390 for 9 cars. Cheap cars, that's not one we want. That's for cheap cars. This is for cash for clunkers, and we were already back there, but let's take a look at that. We have this one. That's a good one. I want to look for also the word cash and the number 4 clunkers. I want to look for that in the search engines too. Cash for junk, maybe. Junk cars, cash, 20. Cash for junk cars, do we have that one? 90. We don't, right? Cash for clunkers, cash for junk cars, yeah, we do. So we have that one. That's a good one. We're pretty much getting there. I think you can keep digging down deeper and find some more on here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to see if I can't find some variations, some close variations from our top ones here. So cash for clunkers, I'm going to do cash for clunkers Phoenix, because some people will put in the Phoenix name. And we'll see what we come up with there, get some ideas. And this might give us, you know, this variation might give us an extra 100 searches per month, which would be very easy to rank a page for cash for clunkers and cash for clunkers Phoenix. It would be just as easy. There's no extra work for that, and it might pick us up an extra 100 or so searches that we add to the other one because of cash. Whoops. Alrighty, so let's get some ideas here. Oh, I know what I did wrong. I have to go here. I'm putting it in the landing page, and that's why that's not working, right? So I'm going to cut that, put that up here, and now we're going to get ideas. That's how we do it. Okay, keyword ideas. What do we got there? Let's see, there were cash for clunkers Phoenix 20. Not that much more. Cash for clunkers really has the big one on there, but it's definitely, it'd be just cash for clunker 10. Cash for clunkers, I was thinking of that. That's 10. Cars for sale Phoenix, no, that's not what we're doing. Cash for clunkers 215. Phoenix junkyards, no. Junkyards Phoenix, no. Auto salvage, no. Junkyards, no. Cash for cars 260. I think we have that one, right? Cash for cars. cash for cars. It's interesting, a little bit difference there. Did that spell different? Nope. Okay, so that's actually 260 and 607. So maybe I just read that wrong. Junkyard Phoenix, car auctions. Okay, so you can see how you can keep drilling down with that. This is the one we did for clunkers. And cash for clunkers, cash for junk cars, okay, cash for your car, cash for cars, sell your car, cash for cars, we buy junk cars. So we definitely have enough searches here. I feel like we could keep drilling down deeper within these on here, but I think you get the idea, and I don't want this video to go on for hours. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video now, and then we'll start right where I left off on the next one to kind of give you a little bit of break there. And then what we'll do is we'll start where I left off, and I'm going to kind of break these down and kind of get a little bit better game plan for these. It's definitely looking good so far.